ladies and... Hold on a minute. Ladies and gentlemen.
We can't even see your eyes.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Married to Stupid podcast. I am your host, Jacob.
And I'm stupid.
And this is Kristen.
Every other week you call me stupid.
I would never...
That at the end sounded like a dog throwing up. So this was not released on Friday. I don't remember why.
Your job. I have a real job.
Your job. So
YouTube doesn't pay the big bucks, you know.
Instead of recording it like as soon as the week was over, like responsible people, we have saved it for 9:30 p.m. on Sunday night to be released tomorrow on Monday.
Yeah.
But you know, it's better late than never. That's what I always say.
She says that every once in a while. I don't know about always.
How's your week been?
You know, my week's been busy.
Yeah, you had a lot of
work
this
a
week.
lot of presentations, a lot of late nights.
Yeah.
But this next week, this should be pretty easy going.
No go lives this week? No. Okay, good.
Those are out of the way.
No presentations?
No presentations this week. A few meetings, but not nothing serious. It's going to be good. Okay. It's going to be real good.
Okay. Well, my week's going to be busy.
Yeah, your week's going to be...
I purposely did that. Don't ever do that again.
It was sticking up.
For those on the cast, like only the audio cast, Jacob just licked his fingers and
it was my hand
smoothed down my hair
like you would a child. I lost my hand.
Anywho, the past like week,
ma'am,
been we've had extra time. Like this past week was spring break for a lot of the schools around here. Obviously, we homeschool, but that meant that like ice skating was canceled. There wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah. In the homeschool world, in the work world.
My kids did still have some school because they got to go on 2 weeks of vacation in February.
This teacher doesn't get a vacation. And we also went on vacation in February.
We also do homeschool year round. So we do get to take breaks more frequently than their public school friends. But in a true testament to our homeschoolness, we were trying to plan something to do with one of our friends, and we were having trouble coming up with something this week. So we decided to go to the Air Zoo, which for those who aren't local, it's like this museum of airplanes. And we decided to wait to go next week because the public school kids would be back in session. So it wouldn't be super crowded.
So you don't have to worry about other people.
Because our kids are used to being able to go in there and like walk on all the rides and not have lines or anything like that. So we're doing that. But this week we got 2 days of skating. We got eye appointments. I have a dinner with a friend. And then, you know, continuing on with this yard sale prep. We spent like all weekend doing that.
It's true. My pole barn looks like usable right now.
My garage is filled with sale items.
Still not happy about this. I don't know how I lost a garage in this, but
this is how it happened.
You know, this is fair because I'll be honest. You know, I stole the room downstairs as my office, and I
stole it.
Well, I mean, because you have the house is kind of your domain, right? Like the inside of the house, the outside is mine. And I've weaseled my way into owning a room downstairs for my office.
So I had like a gym in the basement.
Yeah, you did.
And then you invited your friend to move in.
I mean, it was mutual. I mean, it wasn't like I was the only one making that decision. And then let's be fair with the people.
That he's a squatter?
No, the gym really was not utilized.
It wasn't that much.
It wasn't.
But we were gonna redo the kitchen and move it to a different part of the house. We didn't talk about it last week, so we're gonna update the people.
Yeah, we're pumping the brakes a little bit on that one.
Yeah. So we got the quote for the cupboards, and then we had the contractor guy come in that they recommended. And I could tell right off the bat, like the dude brought like 5 different people with different specialties in. They weren't like asking a lot of questions about what our preferences were. They were just saying, yeah, we'll do this and we'll do this.
Yeah.
Like
They were just kind of ignoring what our
and
thoughts
it
were.
came in at what, over $100,000?
Yeah, total with the kitchen cabinets, it was well over 100.
And so
it's a little too spicy.
Yeah. And then
Spicy.
and then we got another quote, which was better.
A lot better.
But then when we got it, your work decided to lay off some people.
Yeah.
So we were like,
Yeah.
maybe not the best time.
I wasn't one of them.
Obviously.
Fortunately, I was not. But makes you kind of rethink things, you know?
It does. But basically, I don't have anywhere in this house that is solely mine, like how your office gaming room is. And
well, I am glad that I was able to donate my garage.
I wasn't done talking.
Oh, sorry.
I've always dreamed of having a library. It's never going to be able to happen. I'm not getting my kitchen. Even my freaking bedroom, I have to share with this fucker. And
okay, well, hold on, because I try to sleep on the couch as much as I can. And then you tell me I abandoned the family.
Okay, but anyway, our daughter's always in there now too. Like she just sequesters herself away on our bed watching TV. And sometimes I just don't want to be around you guys all the time. I just don't. I just want a spot. And not that the garage is going to be my spot. Like that's not why I said it. I said it because we have this pallet stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was taking up half of the dining room. And having clutter like that gives me anxiety. Like when we had all the Christmas decorations on this table and I was waiting for you to take care of them, because that's what we do every single year, is I put them on the table and then you pack them up. After like 4 days, I woke up with like a knot in my stomach. I had to take care of it all. And after it was all taken care of, I was perfectly fine. So I needed a dedicated spot for all this stuff. And so I just called it. I said, I need to be able to plug my Jeep in. I need to be able to have a spot where I can easily access all the different things and put the kids' gymnastic stuff out there, because Casey bitches and whines every time they want to use it. And yeah, would I, choose the garage? Like for my own personal place? No, absolutely not.
It has kind of been your sanctuary this week.
I would not say sanctuary. I would never say that. I would never call a place that shares space with the thrown away cat shit and cat litter as my sanctuary.
I mean, you could always just move that trash can out of the room.
Anyway.
Well, I'm glad I was able to give you a little piece of happiness when I handed over the garage.
You complained.
Well, I'm still going to, because yeah.
When I called it my garage yesterday, I thought you were going to have a heart attack.
Almost did.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just one of those things, like the realization hit me. You know what I mean?
Right.
We do have a shed out there, though, if you wanted to convert that to like a she shed.
If I stood in there, I couldn't even stand up straight.
In the shed, you could.
If I held my arms out, I would be able to touch all the walls. There's also probably spiders and bees and hornets.
Probably more like mice. But this is where your
there's no air conditioning. There's no windows.
Depth perception or lack of understanding of sizes. You wouldn't be able to touch each side. It's like 8 feet by 10 feet, 12 feet.
I don't think so.
You're not that big.
Okay.
But yeah.
I think the people are really wanting to ask about how your R5 is going.
My R5's going.
R5?
R5
Okay.
is going pretty good.
Okay.
Really what it is we're moving to a new state. We're moving to state 464.
And that's been a process. Am I right?
It has for the last month and a half.
Yeah, because you have to gradually move over.
Yeah, because there's a limit on how many people you can move over from your group.
Right. Right.
And when your group's 100 people and you can only move over 35 at a time, it takes a little bit.
Yeah, and I've been concerned for your people.
So you know, some of the leadership has moved,
And you're still president?
and I'm in the old state as the R5.
So you're remaining until all your people are
Yeah.
over?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Because I know some real life people that are playing, so I'm being
Your stepfather and roommate?
and he stopped playing.
Greg? So you only really know one person.
Yeah,
then.
no, I've got a couple other friends that I play.
But you don't know them in real life.
I do.
Who?
The guys I play video games with.
They're
on the weekend.
on White House Survival now?
Yeah.
I thought
Jesse,
you were talking about
Fred, Casey.
I
got-
already said Casey.
Oh, I know. I'm just
but
saying.
I thought you were referencing the people from other
Like
countries that
Bibby
you're
and Shart.
and Shart and all them.
No, Bibby's still there. I think she's going through some times again because her dad had cancer.
Oh man.
And she was gone for a couple months.
No, where's Bibby from?
She's from Canada.
Oh, she's a good nut.
Where'd we go over there? Montreal. She's from that Montreal area.
And Shart, he was from Lebanon.
He was from Lebanon.
Okay.
He was kind of a dick.
Yeah, seems as much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to blame it on the culture, but the culture there kind of is a little degrading to women.
Okay.
And that very much came across in the video game. Very much so. Like he was nice for most of the time, but then when he would get a little heated,
It would come out.
it would come out.
Hmm.
And then one of the ladies, or the lady that shares the leadership role, the R5s,
Right.
kind of in a rotation.
Right.
She lives in Michigan. She lives over on the east side of the state.
Okay.
And
Representing?
yeah. She's trying to move to Colorado.
Why?
She's a farmer, and she doesn't like Michigan. I mean,
Has she been to Colorado? Because the altitude there sucks.
Yes. Her kid is trans, and she doesn't believe that Michigan is safe anymore.
How old's her kid? Must be young.
I
now.
want to say like 17, 18, somewhere around there. But
She doesn't think Michigan's safe?
Yeah.
Even under Whitmer?
yeah, I don't know. She apparently does not think that Michigan is blue enough, and she wants to go to Colorado. Or New Mexico was the other one. I mean, that's blue too, but
Is it? New Mexico is?
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, technically Michigan was red this time. So,
Well, yeah.
but yeah. But I mean, not to be all personal, that's why I haven't like said her name as far as in the game, but her and her daughter were had a bad relationship with her ex-boyfriend, and they just put him away in prison because it was kind of one of those situations. I won't get into detail, but yeah, she was like 2 weeks ago. She was like, "I'm gonna be gone for a couple of days. I got to go out of state because there's a case going on with her ex-boyfriend or husband. I don't know I can't remember what it was." But then afterwards, she's like, "We got him," and she sent a thing in Discord with the link that they got him. And
Like, was arrest record?
yeah, he was thrown in prison for I can't remember how many years. It was
Good.
10, 15 years. But yeah.
Oh, on that high note.
Her and her daughter testified against him, and yeah.
In a bit of lighter,
Yes,
topic,
later news because that was kind of heavy, I guess.
how's the ranching going? You were trying to tell me about your pigs earlier, and
So
I didn't really care.
So I didn't make the mistake.
Of course not.
So in the ranching business, you know, I've got a grain silo and I got a water windmill.
Right.
Pumps the water
Yep.
automatically. It automatically fills the water bowls and automatically gives the food.
Yep.
Well, my damn pigs somehow made their way into my barn
Mm-hmm.
and like didn't make their way back to get food one day.
Okay.
They like somehow locked themselves. I don't even know how this happened, but the gate was open. All the pigs were like there.
And this wasn't your fault.
No, I don't know how it happened.
Well, you obviously left the gate open.
No, the gate was no. So the whole gate was closed, but there's like gates dividing different sections.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That section was open,
Right.
but all my pigs decided they wanted to stay, or half the pigs, it wasn't all of them, stay in the barn. And I came back from selling my oil and other stuff that I have because I got like 5 businesses in this. You know, it's going pretty good, honestly. Dropped off some grain. I was a farmer earlier, like a legit farmer. Anyway, and they're all sitting there like this.
Like dead?
Yeah, they like half of my pigs died.
Mm.
on the bright side, I was able to sell all of their meat for like 15 grand. So I
So the
gutted
meat
them.
was so
and
viable, even after, like, you didn't know how long they were dead.
They died because they were hungry. Because they didn't make their way back to get the grain. All my goats, my horses, my cows, they were fine. They didn't get themselves stuck. I just massacred like three or four goats. Because I've got about 15 goats now.
That's a lot.
They are multiple. Oh, that's not even. I'm getting about 30 eggs a day right now.
Yeah, that seems to be a common thing with people these days in real life.
Oh, you don't even know right now.
You're right, because we don't have chickens yet.
Because my chicken coop it's meant for like 20 chickens. I've probably got double that in there.
Well, that's not healthy.
It's not. I should probably build another one or just get rid of it because they just walk around the farm anyway.
Maybe next week we can talk to the people about how we're getting goats and chickens.
That's not a first year thing yet. You know, we talked about
goat or 2 goats, 4 chickens.
Potentially. Potentially.
It's probably gonna happen.
But in the game, I'm ranching pretty good, you know.
Okay. Let's move on, shall we? You were done, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right.
Have you been playing any games recently?
No, not at all. Nope.
So you had an exciting life. Anyway, Verdansk is back. Call of Duty.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
All right. So let's roll the jingle for Kristen's questions with a KY. Thank you, Tim.
Just sit back and relax and get ready for this randomness with Kristen's questions with a KY.
All right. So this one is going to be a fun one. I purposely avoided any triggering questions this week.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyway, what's the most ridiculous thing you believed as a kid that you were absolutely convinced was true?
That one might take a little bit to think of.
Really?
Yeah.
Clara, stop scratching that stuff. He's calling the only carpet we have in the house.
The carpet going up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. So for me, one, my parents always told me having the interior lights on in the car was illegal. Bold-faced lie.
Mm-hmm.
Bold-faced lie. My mother also told me, because I would get growing pains like in my knees really bad, and she would give me medicine, but the medicine obviously didn't kick in immediately. So she told me that I needed to rub the spot that hurt because then the medicine would know where to go to. I believed that for far too many years. When I was in 3rd grade, there were 2 Kristens in my class, spelled differently, but 2 Kristens. So my teacher asked if it was okay if she called me Christy. I had never been called Christy before. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity to like try out some different spellings.
Jesus.
So I decided I wanted to spell it Christy. And when I showed my mom like a homework or something that I had and how I had written my name, she told me it was illegal to do that. That it was a law that you had to spell your nickname as close as possible to your real name. So,
okay. I honestly don't know if I have any stories like that.
You didn't have the interior car light?
Well, that is, I think, just a thing. The other one I think I've heard was that honking the horn is illegal.
Really?
Yeah. Which that may or may not be true. I honestly don't know. Because I could kind of see that being like along the same lines of like yelling a fire when you're in a crowded theater. You don't want to just drive down the road blasting the horn because it's kind of meant to mean that it's an emergency or, someone needs your attention. But I don't really think of anything that was really like told to us as a lie that we believed.
Okay. Well, that wasn't as entertaining as
it really wasn't, but I can't help the fact that I had a boring childhood.
Right. Okay. Tim, if you could roll the jingle for hot takes or hot cakes.
Yeah, that was quick. Timmy.
Hot takes or hot cakes, it's all up to you.
All right. So this is an interesting one. We ready for this?
Yes.
Would you rather time travel to the past or the future?
Past or the future. I have one question.
I don't know what question you could possibly have.
I want. Am I coming back to the present, or am I permanently in that?
I have just as much information as what you do, Jacob.
Well, you came up with this.
No, I got it from ChatGPT, and it says, would you rather time travel to the past or to the future?
I would rather time travel to the past.
Any particular period of time?
Well, personally, there's a few. So I think that I was born probably 150 years too late. I think I would get along really well in old Western times.
Okay. Is it because of the hat?
Kinda. But no, I think that things were simpler back then. And I think I would have liked it.
It would have been really hot because there's no air conditioning.
I mean, 70 years ago, they didn't have refrigerators.
So you said there were a couple times. What are the other ones?
Well, the other time would be, since I've already in the future, I could go to the past, make bets on sports games or something, or like purchase Bitcoin.
Not Patcoin.
Not Patcoin. Or like Google or Amazon, and then come back, Apple, and then come back and be like, oh, damn, look at all this money.
Look at my good fortune.
Yeah.
My good luck. Just those two?
Yeah, those would be the two examples.
Hi, Clara.
You're going to see a cat in a minute. And there she is.
Hey.
In all of her glory.
Clara.
Oof. I don't want to abuse you in front of people. What are you
She's
doing?
giving you a look.
You don't even like us. What are you doing?
I think for me, I would also go to the past, but I would go, I would hug my mom one more time. And I would go back to when my babies were babies and snuggle them a little bit longer. They grow so fast.
The one other thing I would want to go to is I would want to go back to see how the pyramids were, like what the pyramids, how they were built, what they were used for. Have you seen all the stuff that's come out about them in the last like 2 or 3 weeks? How they found that there's like these caverns or something that go down underneath them, like 2 kilometers or something like that. And they think that there's some sort of device that they used for energy or something down there. It was this weird thing.
They think Cleopatra may be buried in one of them.
Yeah.
They don't know for sure. They just don't know. Yeah, I would go to the past. I would go just relive moments that maybe I should have paid more attention to when they were happening.
Yeah, I think lots of people have those thoughts when they get older.
Yeah, I don't really have a desire to see the future.
No?
No, I'm good. I'm going to be in the future, like literally in a second. Like you're always going towards the future. And the world has drastically changed in the 40 years that I've been on this planet. So
That's true.
I've seen a lot of futuristic type of things. I'm good. I'm good. I have a smartphone.
Okay.
And my MacBook operates by fingerprint. So.
That's pretty cool. Did you know that some people believe that there is already time travel? At least we witnessed time travel.
No, I did not know that.
So some people think that anytime you see a UFO, that's actually...
When do you see a UFO?
No, I'm saying when people say that they've identified or see a UFO in the sky, things like that, some people believe that that's a time traveler coming back and observing like a certain period of time.
Okay. I mean, that'd be interesting.
That's why they're not able to like track it and stuff like that.
I noticed that you were subjecting our child to the concept of, what is it called? Reincarnation.
I was?
That movie, A Dog's Purpose.
Well, I mean, I didn't introduce that to her.
Well, I mean, you watched the movie with her.
She wanted to see the movie. I had no idea what it was about.
And
then
like apparently when dogs die, they just come back as puppies, but not even like the same breed, according to the movie.
Yeah, the spirit just goes to a new dog that's born. So they just yeah. I mean, it was a cool movie. The idea was kind of cool.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've thought what if that was how humans were too? Like you just didn't know it,
I know.
but you constantly just do reincarnate to the next to something else.
My mom had that conversation with me when I was little. Like she's saying like that she believes in heaven and God and all of that, but that until we die, we truly don't know what's going to happen. And what if you did? What if you did come back as somebody else and you're like you didn't remember anything else from previous lives? And I remember when she told me that. I mean, it was little, but I was just thinking how sad that would be that you don't remember anybody that you loved so much in a previous life.
Or what if you get reincarnated because you didn't make it into heaven? So you keep
You
getting
get another chance.
you keep reincarnating until you get to heaven, and then at the end, when Jesus comes back or God comes back, you didn't make it.
Oh,
Right?
that's
That's
deep. You're going
that's
heavy
different,
on this podcast,
right?
You're going deep.
And I mean, when you think of, if you think of it that way, we got a lot of damn people on this earth right now.
Okay.
It keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which means more and more people aren't going to heaven. They keep retrying. Yeah. Like when it first started out, there were, not very many people.
There's something to think about. You just never really do know.
I'm just, just spitballing it,
Yeah, spitballing. All you can do.
It's crossed my mind once or twice.
Yeah.
Especially
Do you ever
after.
feel guilty entertaining those ideas, though? I always feel like I'm betraying God if I even think about things like that. I've always been like that. Like even when I was younger.
No, because I think you can have ideas. Because I think it matters what you believe in. Having different theories on something, I don't think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, reincarnation is definitely not something that Christianity preaches.
I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm just saying, what if it was? What if that was how it's all working? I mean, technically, we don't know, right?
Well, I've read some literature. I've read a couple books about people that, and even a podcast or no YouTube videos. No, maybe it was Netflix. There was something on Netflix I watched, but people who have legitimately died and seen heaven, and then they were resuscitated, they came back to life, and their stories all overlap. They all have very similar, just like even what it looked like, what it sounded like. It was super interesting. And it actually is calming a little bit to have this idea across all these different forms of media that gives you kind of an idea of what to expect. Like one lady, her child had passed, had died and then was resuscitated. But when she was in heaven, one of the people she was greeted by was like her little sister or something like that like she didn't even know about, but her mom had miscarried a baby. And the description, like maybe it was I don't remember the specifics, but basically like the way that she was describing this baby lined up where in the age or something lined up, I don't know, but it was interesting. So
I also have weird theories about like dreams though too, like weird thoughts on dreams.
Well, I told you that my friend Heather has a dream interpreter person.
Yeah.
And I was with her, not the dream interpreter, but Heather yesterday. And she was telling me about how she went to this person with another dream. And it was kind of similar to dreams I have about my mom, where like I'm trying to get a hold of her and I can't.
Yeah.
She had like part of her dream was similar to that. And the breakdown of it was that you're looking for guidance or advice or support and you can't get it because nobody was answering the phone or you couldn't get the call out or anything like that. But she told this lady, her name's Cindy, she told her about me and my recurring dreams. And Cindy's like, oh yeah, ever come to me. So
wonder if she could tell me if my reoccurring dreams are because it's in a different universe and we're kind of linked somehow.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Have I told you that?
You've told me all about your
I think it's possible that when you're dreaming that you're connecting with somebody else.
Mm.
You know, so or yourself, but in a different like universe. Like there's a connection there.
Mm.
And so you're not actually dreaming something, you're seeing it through the eyes of you in another universe.
Yeah, maybe. Should we go to the next one?
He's gonna cut me off with that?
Well, I mean, we've started at time travel.
Chat, people, video listeners, whoever you are, tell me what you think. What do you think?
They never
Good idea?
respond. We ask every week for chat to tell us
that doesn't
things.
mean you don't keep trying. Have you ever watched the videos? Yes, I'm streaming to 0 people. It's giving you tips on what you're supposed to do. Jeez.
No, I haven't.
Going in this blind, aren't we?
Okay. So, Tim, can you please roll
Timmy,
the jingle for What Would You Do?
run that beautiful bean footage.
2. For generations, we Bushes have kept the family recipe for our baked beans a secret. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Areas to ponder, choices to weigh. In what would you do? We'll lighten your day.
All right. So, I have an immediate answer for this one.
Okay.
So, I'm going to let you answer first.
It better be something I don't have to think about.
What would you do if you got a free ticket to space but had to leave in 5 minutes?
If I had a free ticket to space, see, I would ask so many questions. If I'm just going to space,
I know,
am I
you
coming?
could never just
am I
answer
coming
the
back?
question. Yes, you're coming back.
Well, then I would go.
Why wouldn't you come back?
Then I would tell everybody I'd see you in a few days and I'll be back. And
Well, it could be 10 months. It could be 2 years.
see, I need details. That's what I'm asking. You need G-Rock to tell you more details.
I will ask it that next time.
Because
I would say hell no. Space
Well,
scares the
if
shit
I'm
out of
coming
me.
back,
No, space scares the shit out of me. I don't know. It's a special type of people
well, the
that can go do that. I can't.
The idea of space scares the hell out of me. The idea that something is continually getting bigger and it's getting bigger faster than it was previously.
Nope.
That's weird.
Not for me. Not for me.
And then to think that you could be in the middle of space and there's nobody literally millions of miles.
Like The Martian. What if I got left behind
That would suck.
and I had to grow potatoes with my own poop? What if I mean, I'm not even smart enough to
I
do
was gonna
that.
say, I don't know if you really need to worry about that because you just like pick up shit and be like, what am I supposed to do with
I'll
this
just
now?
die. It's fine.
He's just like, okay, I should use gloves.
No. Yeah. No, not for me. Our son would jump at the chance, I'm sure.
Oh, Connor absolutely would.
He's a space
He'd
freak.
be like, I'm never coming back. See ya. And he'd just go.
He wouldn't even care that his mommy's outside the
That-
rocket bawling her eyes out, the shuttle.
Yeah. Things like spacewalks, though, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I don't want to
We're-
go outside of the thing.
We're linked with a tether, and if that tether is just not connected anymore, you're floating away. The part that gets me,
What is the part that gets you?
so you're traveling tens of thousands of miles an hour,
Yeah, you are.
but you don't, there's no resistance, so you don't
Right.
know that.
Right.
I'm just going to start believing that we're in some weird bubble and it's a flat earth. I
You
wanted to
just
start
really want to go into the weeds on every question.
that.
It's just like we can't. I've said this every week. Actually, you can't just answer the question. You have to.
I thought I did. I
You
thought I
did,
just answered
but
it. I thought it
you
was
needed
pretty
more
good.
info that I didn't have.
Well, I think anybody with a logical brain would ask for more info.
Right, but this isn't life or death.
I mean,
This
is it
just a
going to be
podcast.
Interstellar and I'm going to come back in 80 years?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't watch that movie. I left the room.
Exactly. So
It scares the shit out of me. Like taking me. First of all, the part I watched, like the dad just leaving his kids like that after their mom had died. Like, no, that little girl was devastated. He left her and her brother with John Lithgow, and he was elderly. He could have croaked at any minute. And then what?
he
What
eventually
happened to
did.
the kid?
I mean, she was 80, 90 years old when he came back.
Who was?
The daughter.
I didn't watch till the end. So
Oh.
that
See, that's also the part I don't really get about. Like, I understand how like the time travel stuff works and how your time can speed up, but compared to their time slowing down, I don't know if I buy it though.
No.
I don't
Well,
understand.
that's how Santa delivers all the gifts.
Sure. But I don't know if I believe that with a black hole.
Well, you're not an
I'm not.
astrophysicist. They get pissy and they don't do what you want. So it's okay, Timmy. Everybody makes mistakes.
Don't let it happen.
But Timmy, can you please roll the jingle for Am I the Asshole?
We're done now because we forgot what we were talking about. It's been so long.
Who is the asshole?
Thank you, Timmy, for that. All right. Am I the asshole for how I explained to sister-in-law that she wouldn't be my son's godmother? My wife and I aren't... Sorry. That was unavoidable. Aren't practicing Catholics per se, but we do follow certain traditions such as christening ceremonies for our children. Some people choose a married couple to be godparents. When I was a baby, my parents chose my uncle and his then wife, and they divorced when I was still a child, and I lost all contact with my former aunt and basically grew up without a godmother. So my wife and I always thought it was best to choose one of our relatives and one from each side of our family. For our second son, I chose my brother as godfather, and my wife chose a cousin of hers as godmother. When I called my brother to invite him, he assumed I was asking both him and his wife, and there was this awkward moment where I had to explain to him my sister-in-law wouldn't be the godmother. He seemed fine with it, but my sister-in-law didn't attend the ceremony, and my brother later told me she was a bit upset. So I called her later that day just so there wouldn't be any ill feelings, and I briefly explained our reasoning, including my own personal history with my uncle's divorce. And then she got really mad, as if I was implying I believed that she and my brother will get divorced down the road, which was not my point at all. She also said, just as couples might get divorced, anyone can also lose touch with a blood relative, which is objectively true. But again, not the point we were making here. I'm sad that what was supposed to be this happy family moment is now tainted somehow. Am I the asshole?
No, I do not think he is the asshole. And I get really, really tired of people trying to make things about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you. It was about the child in the ceremony. And it's their parents who get to make that decision. I don't know why people do this over and over again. It's really frustrating.
It's not everything.
It is. Everyone is so entitled that their opinion should be heard and it should be the way that things go. And it's really irritating.
I mean, we had family members that basically told us, if something happens to you, I'm going to have the kids. And we were like, not your decision to make. Not at all. And we had them like at the bottom of the list, actually. So, but we had to have that conversation and we had to say, I don't remember exactly how you worded it, but something like we picked so-and-so, we know that they'll keep the kids involved with the family and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with anybody else but the parents and the children.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing in those situations if that stuff was not set up and someone is then stepping up to take the place if something were to happen, right? But yeah, you don't go to somebody and just tell them, I'm going to be this. It's not your decision. It's not your choice.
Or get pissy when they decide to go a different route. We're not Catholic. And I've always been a bit confused about godparents anyway.
I don't quite understand what they're supposed to be for.
I grew up thinking that a godparent was who would take care of you if something happened to your parents. Like that's how it was always explained to me, but I guess that's not true. It's more they're like your spiritual guide as you go through life. Our kids do have a godparent. And it's my friend Cheryl. But that didn't happen when they were babies. That happened after a couple of years when I just had been thinking more about it. And I thought that if there was anybody that could fill that role, it would be Cheryl. I mean, we don't see her very often. It's not anything serious. She was there at their dedications at the church, but it's nothing serious.
Well, at least, yeah, our version of it.
Right. Right.
I'm sure the legitimate version through the Catholic Church is much more serious.
Yeah.
And there's probably much more of a purpose to it, but our interpretation or the way that we're viewing it is different.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't fully understand it. Probably because we don't really practice
It's
that
probably,
type of
I
religion.
think for a lot of Catholics, it's probably more just a tradition thing.
At this point, probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it's like there's a lot of expectation there. It's more just we do it because that's how it's been done. But again, not Catholic. Don't really know for sure. There are some diehard Catholics out there that.
Yeah. I'm sure I have a godmother and godfather.
Maybe they're the people from Canada that your mom invited to your graduation party and they said they didn't know you.
Maybe.
He sent this
That
invite.
was such an awkward phone call.
His mom gave him all these invites to send. Like, why didn't she send them? I don't know. That was a whole, I don't know. So he sends them out. He has a whole list of names and addresses that his mom had provided.
This is 20 years ago, by the way.
Yeah. And then he gets a phone call from the people.
Like we haven't seen you since you were really little.
No, I don't think they said they
No,
don't even know.
no, they knew who I was, but
Oh.
they didn't know me anymore is what it was. But like, yeah, we haven't seen you or your family since you were like little. And we're like, so we just don't feel comfortable coming to this.
Yeah, crossing the border.
Or giving you anything. I'm like, don't worry about it. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that'd be so embarrassing.
What it was my mom, I'm sure, went through her little address book. For those of you that are not, 40, that's how we kept everything. We didn't have a little contact in our phone. So her, my dad, all those, older folks, they have a black book or a address book. And so she basically just went through the entire thing and wrote down everybody that may have known me at some point in my life.
But she also made the comment a couple different times, like, no, even if you don't want them there, like you just invite them, then they send you a card and there's money in it. So that was probably in the back of her mind too. Like,
Maybe
these people were not those types.
Yeah. So yeah, that
Oh.
happened. That was my.
So that's probably your godparents right
that
there.
was my life.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it had to have been my mom's godparents. But when my grandma lived in Westland, like down their street.
For Kim and Constantine and others, that's also in Michigan. It's on the east side.
Yeah, east side over by Detroit. There was somebody like 3 or 4 houses down that was a godparent of somebody. I don't know. I want to say it was my mom, not me. But it could be me. I don't know. I've never met them. But almost every time we would drive past there, we would hear that it was the god family or godparents of somebody. And I just don't remember who because it's been a while.
Maybe they gifted you your baby ring.
Maybe.
So one thing that they say here at the end, which is something I struggle with myself, is how anyone can lose touch with a blood relative as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that, especially now, that is more and more true all the time. And it's something that I struggle with because, I mean, I've had the conversation with my therapist. I've had the conversation with you. There are some familial relationships that just take too much work to maintain, or it's not mentally healthy to maintain. But we also tell our kids, you just told one of them today, that like you always love your family more than your friends.
Well, it's not that you love them more. It's that you always want to care about them and try to do the best by them.
Right. But that doesn't jive with how we live our life.
Well,
so
correct.
it's something my brain battles.
Well, when you're teaching someone young, and it was talking, I mean, this particular conversation was a 7-year-old talking about how he likes his little 9-year-old
best friend
more than his sister. Well, no kidding. That makes sense. But everybody knows at that age, friendships come and go, but your family's going to be there for at least some period of time longer. Yes, when you get to be an adult, things change. And the true colors of family members also come out, just like friends. And just because they're family doesn't mean you ignore those things If you, I mean, generally, at least from what I've witnessed, when you cut people off, even family, it's because they're those self-centered type of people that feel everything is about them.
Well, I mean, that's the case here. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons that people would cut off. I mean, whether it's for safety or
Right.
anything like that. And I like, you don't get to choose your family. You don't get to.
Right.
But it seems like overall the expectation is that family over everything.
Well,
And-
I think that most people, at least the intent behind that is that you put more effort generally in trying to keep a family
And
together.
what defines that? So for when you were talking to Connor about that, I was thinking like our immediate little family, our little circle here in the house. Because I mean, I don't know. How far out does it need to extend?
Well, I've always interpreted that as your immediate family. So, like to me, and we've had this conversation too before, where there's a certain point in your life where, you know, you, your brother, your mom, dad, those are the most important people, and then you end up getting in a relationship and getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I think we've
that-
had this conversation in
then-
relation to like family holiday get-togethers and all that.
well, partially, yeah, but so then that like center kind of separates, and a new center is formed, and it's you and your wife or spouse, whatever. And then secondary to those people or that person is then your siblings and your parents. And then, so now at that point, for example, you were the most important person in my life over anybody else. Then when kids are born, it kind of pulls that a little bit. And now the kids are the most important thing. You're the next important thing. And then
Right.
the extended family. But to that kid, those kids, it's you and me and brother, sister.
Yeah.
So it kind of expands out. And then, yeah, what you were talking about, there's a certain point where, you know, like family Christmases, everybody has those family Christmases when they're younger where they would go to a grandparent's house or they'd have a routine,
Their tradition.
their
every year.
tradition. And that's the thing I think a lot of people struggle with is once you get, and I think it's when grandparents either pass away or no longer want to host it. At least that was what it was in my case.
It was my mom passing on my side.
So when the person who kind of holds that glue together is no longer there or no longer wanting to do it, it kind of breaks apart, and it's no longer you getting all your cousins around. It shifts downwards, and now it's you and your brothers, your sisters, your parents, and like your nieces and nephews, not your cousins. And it just kind of keeps going out, and that's just how it is. So, and with your mom passing, that would have been the closest to us having that type of Christmas tradition like we did when we were younger. My mom never really has done any get together thing like my grandparents did, and my dad didn't either. So that was not a thing for us.
But for us, well, I think it started with me, but I think it's important to you now too. We've wanted traditions for our kids, like reliable traditions. I think all traditions are reliable, but because we did struggle with that, especially after my mom passed.
Yeah.
Like Thanksgiving, Christmas, like there was nothing that we could count on. And then when I got pregnant with Parker a year after my mom passed and we had Jake, you're like, we gotta figure something out.
Yeah. I mean, it was always that, yeah, it was a struggle because my grandparents, they stopped doing the Christmas stuff when they moved up north. And so on my side, it was always, it was
Always
just
last
chaos.
minute, yeah.
It was chaos, and we would try to make plans, and then all of a sudden, no one's talking to each other, or no one has anything planned. And then a day or two before the event, we'd be like, oh, so-and-so is having Christmas or Thanksgiving. Are you coming? No, that's not going to work for us because we tried to talk about this a month ago. And nope. And everyone confirmed this wasn't happening.
I think the first Christmas after, the first Christmas, yeah, because my mom died in December. But then the year that I got pregnant with Parker, I was like, 2 months pregnant at Christmas or something like that,
Mhm.
is when I think that's the last time my family all got together. It was at my Aunt Karen's house. And it's when I announced to everyone that I was pregnant. Um, but then the families just split and they all did their own things on
Yeah. Like I said,
Christmas
it's just like, I mean, and it honestly, it makes sense. I mean, there was what, 5 kids, or your mom was one of what, 5 kids or 4 kids? 4 kids. So you had the grandparents, the 4 kids. Now, how many grandkids and cousins?
And then we're starting in with great grandkids.
And now we have grandkids. Like that, it doesn't make sense. At some point, it has to split, and that's just what happened.
I think one thing we've always held sacred though was Christmas Eve and like Christmas morning.
Kind of being alone.
Just us. Like in the mornings or whatnot, we've done in the past, like gone and seen my dad and exchanged gifts and done like breakfast or something on Christmas Eve. But otherwise, like it's just us that night and the next morning. And we haven't even actually, one of my favorite things that we do now is go to hibachi on Christmas Day. Everybody loves that. It was like, we discovered one year that it was open on Christmas Day. And we put feelers out like, hey, you guys want to join us? And then they did. And now like everybody looks forward to that.
I do. This is I don't even know it's how you've changed over the years.
I know.
Because originally when we first started dating 20 plus years ago,
anything on those
you
days.
hated anybody that would go
to the movies,
Mm-mm. Go out to eat, any of that stuff you hated.
One time I said I would only go to the movies if all the workers were Jewish.
Yeah, because it was like, they celebrate Christmas. Why do they got to work?
I know. I still don't go to the movies.
Well,
and hibachi people probably aren't celebrating Christmas because they're Japanese.
Well, I mean, you don't know that.
I don't know that. I'm assuming. And there are like white people that are the servers and the hosts and all of that. But I have been like 4 iterations of Christmas.
Oh, I know.
In the 20-some years we've been together.
It's funny how things have kind of evolved and now it's like your thing. Like, we're going to go to hibachi on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
But on the bright side, it's generally they're open at the boring time of Christmas Day, right?
It's actually kind of hard to get reservations there. Like,
well, yeah, because everybody wants that or like 10:10.
And then this year, my friend joined us, and it's just kind of nice. Like, you just create your little group of people that you love and care about and want to hang out with on the day, and it's a nice end to the day. I think our reservation this year was like 6:30 or something like that. So,
one thing we got to do, we got to figure something to do for Thanksgiving.
I know, because
we did go to Chicago for what, 10 years?
I know we did no, not 10 years, because we started it when I was pregnant with Parker, and she's going to be 11 this year.
So 8 years?
Yeah, because we haven't gone the past few years. Chicago is just like, it's all over the place. And the past few times we went, we just didn't really feel safe there. It seems every Black Friday, there's a big protest or like one time our son was in the mall on Black Friday and there was a shooting.
Yeah. There's protests, people sitting in the middle of streets.
I liked going to Frankenmuth. That was fun. We went, I will not go to Timmy Hortons again because that was nasty. They just don't know how to make a good cup of coffee.
Damn Canadians.
Infiltrating the United States with their coffee.
Canucks.
But I thought that was fun. It was laid back, and there was the outlet mall we went to, and
I always liked the Chicago like shopping on Black Friday.
Yeah, and the Chris Kindle market and all that.
I mean, that was never my thing. That was never my thing. But but yeah, it was always fun being in the city because it was always fun because it was the opposite of what everybody does. Everybody wants to get out of the city and go, to the country with family and blah blah blah. And we're going into the city.
But Black Friday shopping is so great in the city because nobody is there.
It's not what anybody would think. Here in Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, wherever, lines around the buildings, that kind of stuff, that doesn't exist there. You walk in, you're in and out in 5 minutes if you want.
Yeah.
It's great.
Also, I really loved Connor's first Christmas. After Christmas morning and all that, we drove up to Traverse City. We took the dog when we had one dog. We got an fender bender because the roads were
Jeez.
really icy.
Oh, wow, that was
but
great.
that was one of the greatest. Like there was nothing open on Christmas Day, so we had to get snacks at a gas station to feed our kids. Well, not Connor, but anyway.
That poor lady. She barely bumped in the back of us, and Mama Bear over here gets out and starts swearing at her that I've got kids in the car.
And then you almost ran me over with the car.
And this lady, she took it.
I don't remember this.
She took it. I mean, I think she felt to a point that she deserved it. I mean, she did hit us. And we're getting there waiting for everything to happen. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
I don't remember that.
She's worried. I mean, obviously the kids, she's worried. And she's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I have kids too in the car. I'm sorry. I'm like, is everybody okay?
I remember the dog was in the trunk and I wanted to make sure my dog was okay because he was an old dog. And so I go and I'm trying to open the trunk and you start backing up and I'm like hitting the thing because you're about to just freaking plow me over. The roads are all ice. Like, it's not like I can quickly get out of the way.
So what
I
was
don't
behind,
remember yelling at the lady.
Well, she remembers. The world remembers. What the reason I was trying to get out of the way is because the reason why we got hit is because the roads were ice, but it was coming over a hill. So there was a car on top turning that was just taking forever. So we didn't see them, so we hit our brakes. We were able to stop, but the person behind us didn't see us until it was too late. So I was trying to get off
maybe
of
just checking your surroundings for your wife next time.
Well, maybe don't jump out of the car and run to the dog yelling at the lady behind us.
Anyway, that was a really great trip.
So I'm trying to get off of the hill so the next person doesn't ram the two of us now.
We actually have this picture that we took, like a little selfie in the hotel bed. And Connor's just so tiny and squishy and Parker's so little. And that picture, I love it. I love it. We just look happy and relaxed and yeah. So we'll have to figure out something for Easter Thanksgiving. We did go this year to friends' houses and we've already been invited or a friend's house back for next year. And that was fun because they made really great food.
Yeah. And then you guys, well, I don't know what just happened there. Seizure maneuver, maybe. But then the next morning you guys went shopping.
Yeah, we got up early. I've never done that. Well, no, I have done that. I haven't done that in years and years.
Well, for the longest time, that hasn't really been a thing. It's nice since COVID that has kind of reverted back to how it previously was, where it's not things open now at 11 o'clock at night and you can go in the middle of the night. Now it's back to 5 in the morning.
Some of them are, yeah.
So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so I mean, and that might be a good tradition. That's fine. I mean, I enjoy shopping sometimes, but I sacrificed it this time.
I said you could go.
I know, but I didn't want to be the third wheel.
Why?
And then on top of that, it was 2 women, and then it would have been me and all the kids too.
No, right, but
and what would end up happening is I have flashbacks of when I was a kid, and I would go with my mom.
Oh my gosh!
And I would want all
I'd stuck in those first 2 levels in your brain.
All I wanted to do was go to Best Buy for a little bit during those times. You want to know where we ended up? Kohl's for 5 freaking hours because that's where old people want to go. Kohl's. I don't want to go to Kohl's. And that's what I thought they would have done.
Carrie would prefer that you come along more because she's afraid people think that her and I are a couple. So, I mean, don't feel like you have to sit back.
I mean, I'm fine.
You didn't act fine.
No, I just I don't want to be the third wheel.
Oh,
maybe next time I'll go with Casey.
Like that's gonna be fun.
Casey will be up. He works third shift.
Maybe he won't then. That'll
Casey, will you be
for
up?
us all. I don't think he listens anymore.
He listens.
Anyway, we've rambled a lot. Where are we here?
24 minutes plus 35 minutes an hour.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up. The people are tired of hearing your voice.
My voice
Hey, do the TLDR.
TLDR is a way to be short and snappy, so carefree. In a hurry, don't need to stress. With TLDR, you'll feel your best.
Shit. So, I'm playing some video games. You know, I'm an R5. you know, and then we talked about being a rancher and I had to kill my well, I didn't kill them. My pigs died off, half of them.
You talk about my garage.
It's her garage now, which I'm not happy about. Now I'm only down to one garage, which is also known as a pole barn. Then we moved into the first question of Kristen, which is what? She doesn't know. Something about
The most ridiculous thing you believed as a kid.
ridiculous thing is, you know, as a kid or remember as a kid. Her parents lied to her. Mine didn't lie to me.
No,
They probably did.
still are.
They probably still are. Well, one's dead. The other one's not.
You could be a little gentler about that.
It's my dad.
One is no longer with us,
It's my dad.
but the other one is definitely lying to him.
And then hot takes, hot cakes. Would you rather go to the future or the past if you could time travel? I want to make that money. Go to the past.
Mm-hmm.
Get some stocks, some
Okay,
Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then what would you do? Got free tickets to space. I would leave in 5 minutes. I would do that.
I would not.
Hopefully,
I'm not leaving my
it's
kids.
not Interstellar and I come back in
80 years.
80 years. Then my wife's dead. Probably one of the kids. Maybe one of them survived. And then the asshole. For not.
Godmothers.
Yep. Picking godparents and the what is she?
I don't think Jacob even really remembered that our kids had a godmother.
Yes, I did. Once you said that they did, I knew who it was though. So I kind of remembered. That works, right?
No.
Anyway, so guy asked his brother, but not his brother's wife, and she got mad because she's self-centered and he's not an asshole, but she's a bitch. So, and then we rambled on about traditions
And
20 minutes.
family.
And family.
Yeah, a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And we're going to go now.
Yeah. Timmy, peace out, Girl Scout.
Gets tricky and you feel